Hey, good evening folks, it's Steve K5JUF. Hope everyone's doing okay out there. Tonight I was going to go over a couple of things on the radio about how I get over to 10 meter. What I have is I have a lot of my FM stations programmed in what are called memory locations, so like I have different repeaters and things. And what I wanted to show you is kind of how I have my radio set up. So when I want to go, for example, say from a repeater over to HF, I want to show you how to do how I do it. What I have is I have this button here called the recall STO button, and this is a feature called Quick Memory Banks, and I'll put a link in the video that shows you how to actually set these up. And what this is there are actually 5 pre-programmed frequencies. So if you press it once, that's the first frequency, which is 10 meter. If I press it again, it'll take it to AM, which is 29000 megahertz, and if I press it again, it'll go to 2 meter FM, which is 29600 megahertz, and if I press it again, it'll go to 6 meter calling frequency. So one last time, and that right there, excuse me, this right here, this takes me to the 2 meter upper sideband calling frequency. So the beauty of this is if I want to go back to my repeater channels, I just press the VM, which is VFO/memory, which is located right here below the clarifier, and takes me back to my repeater mode. And there's all my repeater channels. Now let's go back. We'll go back and press our... Now, if I wanted to go, for example, say I wanted to just go VFO mode and I just wanted to start dialing around, I can do that. And that's something I've got set up here. But I like using the recall STO button because that takes me to those quick memory bank locations. And I'll show you how to do that. So let's go to 10 meter and see if we can get some activity going on here. Press it again. There we go, 10 meter right there, and there is some activity going on. So as always, on my microphone, this is my configuration on the M100. These buttons here, I use the treble cowling for better sideband. And let's make sure the monitor is turned on right now, and when you have the monitor, it actually has your voice come back over the speaker. So I'm going to turn that off right there. Now I'm going to press memory channel to clear this. So let me show you a couple of things. The squelch. These are my hot links, or they call them your quick access buttons, or your touch buttons. I have memory channel, squelch, power, and meter. So let me kind of go over these real quick. Squelch, essentially, everybody probably knows this, but if you have a touch squelch, you'll notice it populates up here, and now I have control of the squelch. So say if you don't want to hear any background noise, that's what the squelch does. So to clear the squelch, because right now the multifunction knob is only adjusting the squelch, so I need to clear this connection between the squelch and the multifunction knob. So to do that, I'm going to press MCH. Now that's going to clear it again. And I'll also put a link on how I program these specific hot buttons here, because that's pretty good information. So let me show you another thing. So if you want to say, for example, you want to adjust your power, you would tap it, and now notice your power's up here, and also it's changing down here. So I'm going to put it back to, we'll go to 90 watts. Okay. Now that multifunction knob is linked right now to RF power, so I've got to clear that link. So to make that disconnect, I'm going to press MCH. Notice what happens here. Now this is clear. The last one I'll show you is the meter. Now normally what you have going on here is you've got SW, you have signal, which is constant. Signal is basically the incoming signal. So if you have a station coming in, that's the signal. So that's what they say, S1, S3, and 9. But let me show you the bottom one, the SWR. This one toggles. So right now I have mine set to SWR because I have an external SWR meter and I have the SWR meter in the radio and I have the tuner. So what this is doing is this SWR right here is what the finals are interpreting, or what they're seeing based on the antenna feed line. So that's important. Now if you want to change this, for example, if you want to look at your compression, which is another subject. We'll go into that later. That's on speech processor. IDD, this is your voltage that you have on the radio. This is the voltage that's on the final, VDD. And power, this is your actual output power. So I'm going to go to the dummy load real quick. We'll transmit here. I'm on the dummy load. And Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. That's the power indication right there. So you see, we're getting close to 100. Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. That's power. Now let me show you the other one is SWR. These are part of the processor. This is a whole other video, so we'll keep going. Now we're back to SWR. So remember I talked about SWR. This is the impedance that the radio is interpreting or getting from the feed line. So normally you want as low as possible. So going into a dummy load, theoretically, we should have no SWR at 1:1. Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. And there is absolutely no movement here because we're going into, I'll show you over here real quick. You guys can see this. That's my little dummy load right there. Now, let's go ahead and go back to the feed line and I'll show you what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my switch and I'm going to switch it from dummy load back to the Charlie Papa 610. Now we're back on the air. Now, I have good SWR all across 10 meter. That means from 28400, 28300 all the way up to 28500, which is tech. Beautiful SWR. And also have good SWR all the way up to FM because the antenna does a great job. Now I don't actually have to run my antenna tuner on 10 meter because it's resonant pretty much across the whole band. So what I'll show you now is when I find a frequency, let's see if we can get, let's adjust our squelch. Press it here. Okay, we'll turn it down. Now we're going to press MCH, turn the volume down. So let's find the frequency. And so when I transmit now, this SWR you see is going to be actually what is on the antenna feed line, which is the coax and the antenna combined. So let's find a frequency real quick and see if we can make a contact real quick, and we'll wrap the video up. Whoops, sorry about that. Is the frequency in use. You can see right now my SWR. Let's just go up here a little. Right now, and let me talk about this because this is important. My SWR, I do not have the antenna tuner turned on. Right there, this is the tuner, so that is the actual tuner. I've tuned many of the frequencies within 10 meter with the tuner, so most of them are already within the pre-programmed memory locations of the tuner. So let me show you without the tuner. Notice the SWR and just pay attention to what that little graph is doing here. It's going to go up to about 1.5. Make sure no one's on the frequency. Let's get right here on this edge of tech. Is the frequency in use? I've got an SWR about 1.2 at 28500. Watch what happens when I go down here. It's going to be a lot higher because of the curve. Let's take a look here. It's going to be a lot higher. Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. And I've got a video on this. Let's see if we can, let's go back up here. So let me show you with the antenna tuner. If I go down here and make this call again, you'll notice that SWR, as the radio is interpreting it, is going to be about, let's go right here, this way we're just above the voice a little bit. Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. Now if I engage the tuner, Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot. There's still a little bit of movement here, but what we can do is we can actually engage the tuner, and that's going to clean that up. Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot, calling CQ, 10 meter, Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot, calling CQ 10 meter and listening from Abilene, Texas.
Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Romeo Golf.
Good evening, Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Romeo Golf, QSO?
Roger, Roger. Name here is Mark in Oregon, and can I get your call sign again, please?
Absolutely, Mark. The call sign is Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot, Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform, Foxtrot, and the name here is Steve, Sierra, Tango, Echo, Victor, Echo. QTH is Abilene, Texas. Go ahead.
All right, well, good afternoon to you, Steve. I was just scrolling around through the band. I saw you tune up next door. I guess that was you tuning up, and then I heard you call CQ, so I figured I'd jump in and say hello.
Oh, very good, Mark. Very good. I'm actually doing an educational video on the FT991A, kind of showing some operations, and thought I'd just put the call sign out there. And wow, it's wonderful to. Thanks again for coming back. Tell me a little bit about your station up there. And by the way, you're making a nice signal in here to Abilene, Texas. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Well, good to know I'm making the trip okay. I'm just running a ICOM 7300, just barefoot, 100 watts through an MSJ 945 manual tuner into a 80 meter end-fed half-wave antenna. But the feed end is just under the gutter of my house, and then the other end is about 75 feet up in a tree. So nothing fancy here, but yeah, it seems to be making the trip okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Signal report, I've got you coming in about 5x7, 5x8, right in there, but you're full quieting, sounding good. On this side here, I'm running a Yaesu FT991A, running about 90 watts today, and I'm vertical on a Diamond Charlie Papa 610, and the microphone is a Yaesu M100 acoustic mic. Go ahead.
All right, yeah, you sound great over here. You're also about 5'7" or 5'8", and but yeah, beautiful signal. No complaints whatsoever.
Sounds good, Mark. Very good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I really appreciate you coming back. Thanks again for taking the call. I'll put it up. My YouTube channel is West Texas Video Gates. I'll put it up a little later. You can hear what you sound like. And thanks again, Mark. I appreciate you taking the call. Wow, the band just died on us. Well, let's try them one more time. Kilo Juliet 7, Whiskey Romeo Golf from Kilo India 5, Juliet, Uniform Foxtrot. 73, Mark, thank you for taking the call and good DXing out there. Hope to work you again down the line. 73. The band literally died. I can't believe that. It's gone. Alright, my friends, well, this is the video. Thought I'd take you through a little bit about how I turn the radio on, a little bit about these buttons and things, and I'll put some links in here of how to configure these and some of the various other things. I've got a lot of information on the channel, so anyway, have fun, and let me know back if you got any thoughts, comments. I always enjoy hearing from everyone. I get so excited when I get messages and things, and I'm just so happy that we're able to help out there. So anyway, 73 guys from KI5JUF. Thanks for watching.